Welcome to Cinematic Recaps. This movie is called Countdown. The movie is about a nurse that finds out she only has 3 days to live after downloading an app that purports to predict the time of death. Time is running out as she tries to escape from a mysterious figure that keeps appearing to her. Sit back and enjoy to see what happens. The film begins with a bunch of friends drinking at a party. They begin by discussing the Countdown app, an app that forecasts your death. One by one, they begin revealing the dates they were given, but one of the friends, Courtney, is given a death time that is later that night. After the party, Courtney's boyfriend Evan tried to drive her home while intoxicated, but she refused to let him do of the countdown timer and insisted that they walk instead. Evan loses his cool and drives away, leaving Courtney to walk home alone herself. She then receives a notification that she violated the Countdown app's user agreement. She is being closely followed by a cloaked figure as she walks, but the figure soon disengages, catches a nearby car, and speeds off. Courtney rushes into her home, closes the door behind her, and looks out the window. She then goes into the bathroom and fills a glass of water and checks the shower as the Countdown app goes off. She drops the glass before being carried vertically into the air and dropped to the point where her neck fractures over the bathtub. The scene switches to an SUV that has crashed into some trees. The driver is shown to be Evan, and the passenger seat, where Courtney should have been, has a tree branch lodged in it. Regardless of what happened, Courtney would have perished in the accident. Start of the credits. Evan meets Quinn, the main character of the story, who works as a nurse at the hospital nearby. She tries to console Evan, who will soon undergo surgery and is using crutches and a cast on his foot. Evan laments Courtney's death and is aware of his own death because the Countdown app predicts that he will pass away during surgery. We get to know Quinn's coworkers, who report to head nurse Amy. A number of them begin downloading the Countdown app and making jokes about the remaining time. Unexpectedly, a couple enters the hospital room with the female appearing to have overdosed, so the nurse provides Narcan to revive her. As we circle back to Evan, who is avoiding the surgery by exploring a hospital construction site, we find that he has violated the user agreement. In the hallway mirror, he notices a hooded person following him, but when he turns around, it has vanished. He eventually manages to get to a stairwell as the lights begin to flicker. He yells Courtney's name after spotting her ghost on the stairs, but she turns around with a decrepit face and yellow eyes. As Evan and his phone fall, the camera pans to the bottom of the stairway. When Quinn downloads the Countdown app before leaving work for the day, she discovers that she has 3 days left to live but shrugs it off. The television is on when she visits her father's home to collect information for her I-9. Jordan, her younger sister, is there as she unlocks the closet after hearing a disturbance. She confronts her sister after swiping some clothing aside to reveal a boy with bare chests. As the younger sister complains that Quinn doesn't spend enough time with her and their father after her mother passed away, we can tell that the sisters' relationship is a little tense. Quinn learns Evan passed away at work the following day, and she visits the area where his body is kept in order to locate his phone. She decides to do some research after spotting the picture of Courtney and him on his home screen. After returning upstairs, Quinn changes her mind about hanging out with her dad and sister and learns that she has broken the terms of her user agreement. A shadowy person may be seen in the front of one of the rooms as she walks through the hallways, but as she turns around, the figure has vanished. When Quinn's boss, Dr. Sullivan, pulls her into a room to check on a patient, he actually takes advantage of the situation to try to push her into having sex. Despite Quinn declining his overtures, he pushes himself on her before saying sorry of his behavior. Quinn tries to talk to Nurse Amy in the hallway, but Dr. Sullivan interrupts him by asking her to check on a patient. Quinn does research on the app at her house, views a video about it, and reads comments that call the video into question as being fake. Then she sees Evan's ghost, which frightens her and makes her want to sleep in her car. The following morning, her sister wakes her up, and they enters. Jordan has been abducted by a family friend who has been caring for her while their father is gone. Jordan and Quinn fight after Jordan is denied permission to stay at her sister's house. As she leaves, Quinn promises to download the app and invite the boy from earlier in the movie. When Quinn goes to the store to get a new phone, she panics when the app automatically re-downloads to the device despite having a new number, SIM card, and service. She sees the cloaked perpetrator in her rearview mirror as she drives. and when it strikes her, she backs into another vehicle. When the other driver confronts her, Matt, who was also there because of the Countdown app, defends her. When they visit the hospital to speak with the priest, Matt is attacked in the restroom, and Quinn is subsequently challenged by the HR division because Dr. Sullivan has changed the facts to place the blame on her. They persuade another customer at the bar into downloading the app so they can read the user agreement and realize that altering any plans that would have resulted in their death is what is disallowed by the user agreement. The two seek out another priest in the hopes that he can provide them with information about the monster pursuing them. They go back to the phone store from earlier and pay the manager to hack the app after he suggests that doing so could enable him to assist them more effectively. Since Jordan downloaded the app and is scheduled to pass away 3 minutes before Quinn, they extend both their app's time limit and Jordan's as well. Quinn spends the night with Matt later that evening, and they are both informed that the countdown clock has changed back to its original time. The monster then attacks Quinn and her sister, whom they run to save at the babysitter's home. The three go back to the priest, who informs them that the app's code is in Latin and tells them a story about a devil who tortured a king in biblical times in order to prevent his death. The king sent his brother to fight in his place after a gypsy informed him that he was supposed to die in battle, but the brother did not. To ward off the demon, they undertake a rite that involves blessing salt placed in a ring. While Matt is apologizing to the ghost of his deceased younger brother, who the demon assumed the shape of during the earlier attack in the hospital. The demon appears and successfully tempts Matt outside of the ring by sounding a deafening alert that no one can hear. When they were younger, Matt was tortured by guilt for taking his brother's dinosaur from the hospital while he was dying. Quinn and Jordan go after the sibling after his eyes become green and the demon pulls him outside. They discover Matt is okay outside, but he is hit by a truck right away, pinning him against a tree where he dies. When Quinn learns that her sister was impaled in the abdomen while pursuing Matt, she breaks down and starts to accept her fate. They hurry her to the hospital, where Jordan is being cared after by Dr. Sullivan. Another coworker approaches Quinn and claims that Dr. Sullivan also sexually assaulted her, and that she will support Quinn if she decides to file a lawsuit. Quinn enters Dr. Sullivan's office and tempts him to visit the hospital's under-construction wing, where she starts a plan they devised with the priest in which the demon will be vanquished if someone dies earlier than expected. In their struggle, Quinn tries to give Sullivan an overdose of morphine, but the demon takes him away. When Jordan arrives, the demon follows her and throws her into a different room via a window. By starting to inject herself with the morphine, Quinn draws the demon's notice. The demon then assumes the appearance of her mother and tries to delay Quinn long enough for the remaining seconds to pass so it can capture Jordan. Quinn, however, fights back and injects herself, turning the demon into ash in the process. Jordan rushes over to her sister who is unconscious and cries over her dead body. Then she sees a syringe filled with Narcan in Quinn's pocket and realizes that Quinn had drawn a diagram of where to inject it on her arm. As they hug, she gives an injection that revives Quinn. Quinn, Jordan, and her father pay a visit to her mother's grave as the movie comes to a close. Quinn receives a brand new notification as they depart. On her phone, Countdown has finished updating to version 2.0, and this is the end of this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for daily updates of movie recaps like this. Comment what movie you want next. Thanks for watching.